Hey, look, it's a draft.
Game number 2. Alliance again on the Dire side. And Vega Squadron again on Radiant side. This time, Jonasson fans not going to play the Void, though.
Yeah, they were definitely affected by that last game. They banned both heroes that were picked in the first 2, and now they get their Wisp. So Alliance Vega leaves that one through this time, and it is same sides, though. So now it is Vega's Vega's Radiant and Alliance Dire still.
Yep, and Alliance banned out the same heroes again. Last game, Batrider was also removed, so Jonasson fan is going to get his Batrider this time. And that was pretty scary as well.
First they get the OD. Yeah.
They're going fast, guys.
Quick picks. Yeah, the Ogre was something we saw yesterday from Navi. Don't really know what specifically it was for, to be completely honest. It worked out super well with their lineup because they had just had like that super run at you, and then they had the Enchantress with Blood. Everybody benefited massively from the Bloodlust, so it was great for them, but we'll see how Alliance wants to take a page out of Navi's book and use it.
Real question for you, Fogged, is can you be a good Ogre player? Are there Ogre players that are better than others?
Yeah.
Isn't the hero just based on RNG? I mean, you just hope that you get enough.
Remember when Zai was playing it like every game on EG for
but he was
quite a while back, and he was like owning. Zai was just
yeah.
crushing everybody with the hero.
Would you not say, though, that a hero such as, for example, Disruptor has a higher skill cap compared to Ogre?
Yeah, sure.
Of course.
I mean, unless you get the multicast. The multicasts are pure skill.
Aha!
Right.
There we have it,
ding, ding, ding.
ladies and gentlemen. It is the inside of Fog.
There you go. No, I mean,
he's not wearing that hat for nothing.
Definitely Disruptor has higher skill cap, but Ogre is more just like your positioning, your influence on the laning phase.
Normal support stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Well, interesting. I mean, what makes him good on this one? We see him paired up a lot with the Batrider. I guess it's the Ignite. Does a lot of damage added onto that slow, which helps out Batrider a lot as well.
Bloodlust in the laning phase too is super annoying. Very fast Batrider running at you with sticky. You know, you're already slowed, your turn rate slowed, he's super fast. It definitely has good synergy between the two. It also, I guess that kind of, in like an indirect way, it gives you tower push and Roshan because of the Bloodlust. So that's always helpful.
Oh, Witch Doctor. Oh, no.
When we saw Witch Doctor yesterday, it was actually also paired up with an Ogre, I want to say. Because they went for the that was one of the only things that you could.
It was paired with a Pudge, wasn't it?
Yeah, with a Pudge, actually. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It was paired up with the Pudge, but it was one of the only things that we could see was indication that there was going to be an aggressive tri lane.
Yeah.
Because Witch Doctor is really good in an aggressive tri lane.
But he's also extremely good versus Wisp, of course. You know,
yes.
like Tether is just easy to set up the casks. The bans, though, looking at Alliances, pretty standard. Again, like they don't want to deal with FN's Jug because he has very good win rate on it. Oracle, of course, so the Batrider can get easier lassos. And then Vega, the two obvious bans. I mean, the Nyx is a very obvious one. The TA, I feel like, is... TA is very strong versus the Wisp. He lanes decent for Sodi
we saw Limp.
And Limp.
Yeah. Holy crap, yesterday.
Limp owned pretty hard. So now the big ones that are standing out. Sanking was ignored last series, so our last game, so that was a bit strange to me. So maybe Sanking it, the Slardar is still there. I don't think we'll see Vega take the Slardar again, though.
Alliance, however, Slardar, though. Yeah. Easy, Dire, Roshan.
And they do run him aggressive tri-lane with him as well.
Yes.
Oh, hello. Never mind.
Okay, so Vega takes it anyway.
Vega takes it anyway.
I guess they're hoping that this one's going to turn out better than last time.
It's probably like, okay, we may not want this the most, but we don't want Alliance to have this.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, I guess, a deny pick in a way, but also, I mean, it's a great hero. It's just they had a pretty unfortunate scenario the last game with it.
How do you fix that? Because last time they were up against an aggressive tri-lane. You can imagine that perhaps that's going to be the same case this time, so how are they going to do it differently? Or maybe this is an off-lane Slardar.
Maybe this is the time where they put in the off-lane, or maybe they just throw Mag alone with another hero and they just switch the lanes up, which I thought that they would do the last game. I really thought that they were going to put that Darcy or safe lane, but maybe this game they're going to be like, okay, well, Alliance clearly does actually just aggro every game, so now we have to just adjust.
Yeah.
Well, Alliance pick coming up next. Who could they want here? Didn't the Witch Doctor lose horribly last time? Or am I wrong?
With the Pudge?
I thought it was...
They won.
They won that one.
They won that game, right?
Oh, I lost. I bet on the other team. Yeah. That's why I was mad.
No, I think that... Yeah, that was the game that they won.
Yeah, they won that one.
Because they lost the second game against Na'Vi, and that was the other one. Yes.
Right.
That was the drought lineup.
So they know what they're doing here. You don't see too many Witch Doctors picked up these days, so they know they got something going on. Why is it a good combo against Wisp, you said, right? Because those two are just going to be around each other, you think?
The cask is just naturally good versus it. Wisp has very little armor, so Death Ward pretty much kills him super quickly.
Especially with an Ags.
Yeah.
You know he's going to be in the middle of the fight, too.
And Voodoo Restoration is very overlooked just as a heal. Like EGM in that aggressive trial, he was just running around with it on it. It's pretty potent. Helps a lot.
Yeah, the TA was also
Luna.
in the same game as
Luna.
the Witch Doctor, by the way. So it might be also a reason why that is banned out. Luna is
a good
normally
point.
paired up with Aura heroes.
Or a Shadow Demon.
But I mean,
Yeah, or Shadow
Bloodlust-
Demon, but
Bloodlust is kind of Aura.
I
Kind
guess,
of.
yeah, I get, you buff them up, you can take towers really fast. I guess I can see where you're coming from. It can work very well.
That's a pretty scary aggro tri-lane too. Ogre
Yes.
has ridiculous base damage and ridiculous health and regen and everything. Witch Doctor, ridiculous range and ridiculous base damage with a Luna Aura. That's pretty devastating.
That is
so-
scary.
Scary stuff.
I mean, it's Halloween. Spooky stuff is where we're going right with this.
That's right. If you guys could dress up as any Dota hero for Halloween, who would you do?
Halloween?
For Halloween.
Warlock.
Like, you had like an unlimited budget. Warlock. That's an easy one. I like that one. That's
I might
good.
look-
that's
I might
actually
look behind
doable.
us,
Yeah, that's
actually.
doable. That's a thing.
There were some pretty good ones actually behind us right now if you're looking. Like the Legion Commander actually looked pretty scary too. He looked the red eyes. I don't know, it's actually
Oh.
pretty sweet, but
That could work.
Could be a little spooky.
Terrorblade is, I guess, very spooky.
look, these are all spooky.
Axe is spooky.
I mean, that's not
All
that
the
spooky,
backgrounds.
buddy.
What? How is that not spooky?
That guy's,
Oh,
that guy's got a monkey on. A monkey's
Dude.
not scary.
Dude, there's
a
of
cute
course,
little monkey.
there's the Headless Horseman of the CK.
That's not headless. He's got a head.
Well, this is
And
not
Queen
headless,
of
but-
Pain is pretty scary as well as the
Queen of
Doom.
Pain ain't scary. She's.
Okay, which hero would you dress up as? That's
I'm
the
not-
scary one.
Oh, are we going for scary ones? I was
Yeah,
just
it's
interested
Halloween.
in costumes. Oh, okay. Hey, Disruptor got picked up.
No, which hero? Tell us.
The scariest Dota hero?
Yeah.
Oh boy, that is a tough one. I didn't even think about my own question. I'm gonna have to say Bristleback. You know, he's a spookster guy. You don't know if you're gonna get that
He's like a
goo on
pig.
you.
How are we not saying Death Prophet?
Death
That is like
Prophet
the
is-
key
she's
for
actually a
Halloween.
ghost.
I don't
She's
know.
actually a ghost.
With the legs thing though, is more sexy than scary.
Well, you don't have to wear that cosmetic if you're
Yeah.
going for
I don't know. I feel
spooky.
like you have to. If
You
I
have
see
to.
if I see a Death Prophet without those legs, I just assume they don't have the cosmetic. Those are some nice legs.
Okay,
So
so-
even that one has the legs. You see?
Ben
So
morphing
how are
again?
you gonna? Okay, never mind.
Morphling again. Hey,
Morphing again.
Disruptor picked up on Vega, which is, of course, even though they didn't have a good game, they do have the best Disruptor player in the universe on their team.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah,
gonna have
that's
to go with
goodness.
that.
I guess, I mean, if you're going to play Disruptor against one team, Alliance knows how to deal with it because they're so good at it themselves.
Yeah.
But do they remember that? Do they remember his NA lessons on Disruptor?
We saw Hanskin on Disruptor last week.
Yes.
He was doing amazingly well.
But did Vega watch last
It also.
week?
I hope so for them.
It's
for their
it's
sakes.
decent versus the Bat Rider because you can break the lasso. If you're very quick on the glimpse, not really that great, I guess you could say, but it's good at versus like Alliance's lineup because they have this lineup which wants to push these towers quick.
Yeah.
So if you're in position properly with multiple heroes, a Disruptor can just catch people off guard because you're just trying to get the tower. If you're not expecting everybody to rotate, you can just get glimpsed out of position.
I don't know. I'd love Disruptor against heroes like Luna, too. Heroes that, like, the entire team tries to protect, and then if you can get them out of position,
Yeah.
they're low HP, you can just blow them up, and
Yeah.
that's, like, game-winning stuff. So we'll see if that's able to work out, though. It's all about positioning on that one, so we'll see.
So they went out the Razor, and in terms of mid heroes against an OD, there's not that many left. Nyx Assassin removed. We actually have seen the Imperial go for a lot of sniper against OD.
That's one that people used to do for a while, yeah. That's
Yeah.
a pretty interesting one.
Would you consider Alliance a team that would pick sniper? Because that's the question,
Ooh.
right? Is it going to be... Because Loda is going to play Luna, that's there. But
Yeah.
what's Limp going to do? Oh, hello, Ursa.
I was actually going to say that Vega has a very, like, once Luna gets BKB, they actually lack a little bit of damage. Like, Amplify is great and all, but OD isn't really one of those big, like, right clickers that, like, gives them everything
Ursa
they need for the
fixes it.
physical. Gives them the Roshan as well, so that's a really nice, cheeky pickup. And it's a hero that he's very good versus, like, aggros. You know, he's innately very tanky and deceptive with the Wisp.
Mirana is still in the pool as well. How does Mirana
Yeah.
do against OD?
I
guess not that
think
well.
he struggles a
Yeah.
bit. I'm not too certain about like the matchups because I know people were saying like what Timbersaw does well versus OD, which I can never really see, but I know people were saying that that's actually a thing. But I don't think we're gonna see the Alliance pick something like that. Doesn't seem like a limp.
What will
Yeah.
be the Limp hero is the question.
They go for the tiny again.
Yeah.
Shiny against OD? Good luck with
I don't
that.
think so, right?
Then-
Could happen.
and-
I mean, pretty brutal.
Yeah.
I don't think so either, but I don't think they want to do a single core Luna, so they definitely want something that scales decently and something that benefits from Bloodlust.
Tinker.
Just
oh,
kidding.
That's
I mean,
been
that
a while.
scales for a long time, but doesn't really benefit from Bloodlust.
Oh, Lord, that is a greedy lineup. You
That
have
is a
Tinker stealing
extremely-
all the money and Luna desperately trying to get that money.
I think it's a very greedy lineup as
Not
well, yeah.
looking good.
Okay. Actually, I'm going to just set in a new rule. The person that was correct with their previous prediction has to go first.
Okay.
Well, of course, super greedy lineup. Alliance has very little chance to win this one. That's why it will be so surprising when they do. I'm going to go for Alliance.
I'm going Vega.
I've got Vega as well.
Get ready to lose again, kiddos.
Oh, God.
There we go.
I would be happy if you just get it right. You know, that's
fair.
it's a
If you
win.
get it 4-0.
It's a win-win for
Happy.
me, guys.
You'll make Sweden happy because
Yeah,
the
yes.
Alliance will make it.
That
Fire
too.
up your public apologies.
Game 2, Alliance versus Vega Squadron. It is over to Odie Pixel and Gods.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the ASUS ROG DreamLeague. I'm Odie Pixel. I'm here with Gods, and we're ready to get yourself kicked into Game 2 of the first series of the day. Vega Squadron once again up against Alliance. The drafts are done. And this time around, what are you liking here, Gods? A little bit of a tempo change. You know, Limp being on the Tinker, arguably not as much of an early game playmaker as the Tiny, but as it scales on, we could certainly expect him to come out with the plays.
I'm looking forward to seeing if Vega have the answer to the Alliance aggro trialing, because so far we've seen teams struggle against it. That's why Alliance have done so well here at DreamLeague. Their aggro lanes have not so much caught people by surprise, but just been something that teams haven't adjusted well to. It's not often you see teams aggro trialing. It was like non-existent for many years. It wasn't until maybe 6 to 12 months ago we started seeing a few come back here and there, and Alliance is one of the teams that's had the most success with them. So I think we're seeing it again. Jonas to the safe lane, 3 heroes down bottom. Sometimes it's aggro dual lane. This time around it looks like it'll be like a Hanskin roaming between mid and bottom lane, depending on where they need help. And Ursa is not a hero that does well against this.
I mean, I guess that's the question. In this mid lane, then, is Limp going to need backup against what Vega are going to put against him? Do you expect Hanskin to hang around her a lot, or can Tinker hold his own after a while?
Tinker, maybe with a little bit of help, can hold his own. For now, Hanskin is helping, not directly in the mid lane, but so much as just by keeping the supports busy. Finds Sioma, throw an Ignite. Just knowing where the supports are is half the battle. So Limp already getting some info for the team. But FN has swapped lanes. He said, screw it, I'm not going against this aggro trial. And you're versing Alliance. Surely by now you've caught on to the fact they like to aggro lane. And I'm very surprised Ursa started bottom lane if he was planning on dodging that trial lane and just going top.
It's going to be a very interesting thing to see how teams deal with that in the qualifiers playing against Alliance. Meanwhile, top lane already, a lot of harassment getting done onto Jonas and Fan. He did get 6 stacks onto Mag, so no wonder the bat was sticking around nice and close, just seeing if he himself had an opportunity to go aggressive. But there's the full swap around as Mag does TP down to bottom lane.
The great thing about this aggro lane is Alliance don't care if you swap your lanes, because they still have winning lanes now. They're going to be able to zone out and bully the Slaughter, similar to what we saw last game. It is the off-lane player Mag on it this time, but Batrider should do all right here. It's a melee hero Ursa. As long as he plays fairly defensively, he should be able to get some XP and farm. Maybe he dies once or something, but it's going to come kind of at the exchange of getting some good levels, some good farm on himself as well. I feel like he does better against the trial lane than Mag's going to do better. Because of the creep equilibrium bottom lane, Alliance are going to have a great time zoning out the off lane in the safe lane Slaughter of Mag.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment they seem to have set off these kind of dual lanes. Alliance keeping EGM up towards the top on the Witch Doctor, just making the pulls and such. We'll see if he himself makes some movements around the map. At the mid lane at the moment, Iceberg, 7 for 2. Limp, 4 for 1. Slight edge for Iceberg, but I imagine this is kind of a lane that could play out both ways with what kind of the laser coming into play for Limp, but at the same time, the Astral spam and usage, once Odie hits a certain level, it's going to be annoying for the Tinker to stick around and find the farm.
Yeah, I think Limp just having a bit of a bad game here in the first couple of ways. I've seen him miss a few CS in a row, which is a bit unfortunate. Even when the OD was going for the rune, he missed 2 CS, so not his best game or his best start, but that can easily change.
Up top, getting aggressive onto Jonas and FN. Playing around underneath the tower, has to back away those EGM comes across. Jonas and Fan will salve up. FN, I mean, he wants kills. He's looking at EGM. EGM turns around with the cast. Some good bounces as well. FN playing incredibly aggressive. Has the stick charges to keep him alive. FNG turning towards EGM, but the Voodoo Restoration keeping the Witch Doctor topped up. And now Alliance, they're going to look for the turnaround. They're chasing them down. Sherman the Sayer looking for a glimpse to bring Hanskin away from them. FN's going to come back in, surrounding EGM, and Vega will find the first blood. They'll take down one. They're looking for another. Get the Earth Shock slow onto Jonas and Fan. FN Won't be able to chase this. FNG had to tether across to Shoma to keep him alive. Shoma falling
Firefly.
very, very low. There's 6 stacks at the moment on this Disruptor. FN's going to come back in. The Fury Swipe stacks are still on Jonas and Fan, and they're going to get another. Vega get the double kill. Shoma the Slayer will have to pay with his life. The Vega being very aggressive up top, and they'll take that. Nice little play from Hansken. Potentially tried to look for the body block. Isn't going to happen. Mag able to wiggle himself away with the sprint phase movement.
Yeah, playing with fire up top lane, that almost was like 2 or 3 kills going Alliance's way. They just managed to slightly outplay the Bat Rider there. He was a bit low on mana to get another Firefly off as well. Went for the Napalm spam instead, and luckily for Vega, it works out for them. It didn't feel like it was a completely controlled aggression. It felt like they got a bit too eager for the kill underneath the tower, but they didn't get punished.
Mag just getting himself back to base as he picks up the Talon and such, maybe indicating that he's going to stick away from this lane. Loader a little bit too scary, as Slider may just look to pick up some levels and some farm.
And that's where
in the
Alliance
jungle.
don't mind that, like trading kills near tower kind of thing, even when they trade one for 2 in kind of poor fashion, because Loader's still free farming. He's double the CS of the Ursa right now. Ursa, despite not dying, got only the assist there, so he didn't really get all that much farm while all that aggression was
there's
going
a lot
on.
of time chasing around Jonas and Fan, so indeed, no wonder he got knocked back. In the mid lane, what has happened to Limp? I mean, as I said, you know, with the Astral and such, it's not going to be an easy lane for the Tinker, but Limp is having an incredibly tough time. Talking about tough times, top lane, Jonas and Fan being gone on again, will be brought down. EGM came in with the cast trying to save him, but he's not going to be able to find a kill in return unless Hansken, with a couple of bashes, could do it. He's coming in with the clubs, does take down the Ursa, and he may just get FNG as well. FNG trying to get himself out of this. And EGM with the final touch gets a double kill. Questioning whether they're going to dive it there, but Alliance will hold back. But nice bit of gold and XP for EGM there as he picks up the 2 of them. And Vega's aggression on the top lane getting punished this time.
They were a bit more well prepared for it this time. They are sacrificing some decent CS and farm on Mag Slider at the safe lane, but I think Alliance will be pretty happy with what's going on at top. The mid lane is definitely a concern for them. Limp is continuing to get crushed here. Even with the bottle coming out, he's been sent back to base to heal up. Iceberg dominating the 1v1 matchup. And this has been a more or less straight 1v1 with how busy the supports have been in mostly that top lane. Just straight out outplay as well as a slight hero matchup advantage for the OD, but I wouldn't even say it's that sizable.
Just having much better time here. Well, top lane again, FN and FNG getting punished. I mean, FNG is going to be dove upon. They lose 2 at this top lane. Has gone to absolute shambles here for Vega. You know, they've got this Ursa IO combination that they're trying to make aggressive plays with, but more often than not now, it's biting them hard in the foot. You already talked about the fact that FN was falling behind in terms of farm compared to Loader. And it's what feels like a second game in a row. This could pan out for tough times for the essential safe laner of Vega. Obviously, the role switched around. Iceberg is in the mid lane this game, but both players trying to play a very aggressive safe lane, and it's not working out on for them.
It seems they just keep getting caught by surprise by the Alliance supports being up here. Like, they come back, or like they get zoned out, and then they probably think, oh, they'll go back bottom. Loader needs help. He's a carry, right? The supports won't stick around top, but no, they're sticking this top lane. They're committed to shutting down this Ursa now. And Loader doesn't need the help to farm. He's free farming away.
He's free farming. He's got a solo lane. This Luna's going to be in an absolutely fantastic place when it comes to levels and farm at this stage of the game, because Vega seem just set on putting the pressure up top, where, as we've seen, Alliance, they're ready to answer it. And no one on the side of Vega yet to look to help down on that bottom lane and look to do anything about Loader's Luna, which is setting up to be in a space as good as he was in game 1 on the gyrocopter.
He can pick up a TP soon if he wants to go and help out that top lane should a dive happen. So, yeah, there we go. He picks it up. He's level 7. Any kind of dive at top is going to be heavily punished by that Luna rotation. The Tinker has a TP as well, although less likely to rotate since he's mostly prioritized on his own farm for now. Doesn't really rotate as well as a Luna does, considering he's only got the March primarily. So this top lane is really a dangerous place for Vega to keep trying to fight and apply pressure.
FN's picked up the phase boots now, Ursa, so I mean, this could be a bit of a double-edged sword. He might feel that he can go even more aggressive for the extra movement speed, but at the same time, Alliance, they can very easily punish it. FM eyeing it up, but understandably just standing back now by the tower. Jonas and Fan, EGM and Hansken up there in their tri-lane glory, keeping Vega back. And FN, he's got to find another way into this game, it feels, other than trying to go for those kills, because it's just not going to happen at the moment.
What a great rune for Loda to find. He's found an invis, and he can actually gank mid with this. Iceberg will not expect this. Tinker can easily bait him in.
And he's just used the Astral to farm.
So we've got 3 seconds, though. We'll be back up in time. Perhaps waiting for another Astral.
Yeah, and there it is. Perfect time. Loda comes out, no messing with the Eclipse. IO does come in. FNG trying to go for the save. It may just work out. The rocket's bursting through, and it looks like it will. Great presence from FNG. Averts the danger that Vega could have been in. And in fact, well, Vega may just look to take a kill out of it. Hansken caught on the wrong side of the map. And, well, there we have it. Vega turning around a situation that looked to have potentially been incredibly messy for them.
Yeah, I think Loda misplays there. He doesn't... You can start with the Lucent Beam before the Eclipse, because you're already cutting off... The OD runs towards you. Like, you're sitting closer to his tower than he is. So you start with the Lucent Beam, and then you immediately Eclipse. A Lucent Beam has a 6-second cooldown, so there's a good chance you get 6 off. He didn't use a single Lucent Beam that entire gank, so... Yeah, the IO comes, and it's a bit of a, kind of a panic moment where it's like, oh crap, IO's here, we're not going to get the kill. But realistically, you got to set yourself up for success and start with the Lucent Beam there.
A little bit of indeed a strange play. Loda's going to head back down towards bottom. Mag, you know, with the time that Loda spent heading towards the mid with the Invis rune, managed to catch up a little bit. He's now heading near onto level 8 himself. The Iron Talon helping him keep the farm pace up. And he's going to be backed up by a few members of Vega as well, which is good timing because Alliance themselves heading down to the bottom. Hansken and Jonas and Fan looking to make something happen. But Mac, he's got backup, and in fact, they're going to be the ones to kick it off. Loaded dragged back, but the lasso comes just in time to stop Mag from getting the initial crush off. He now gets the crush through. It looks to be enough to allow him to get himself the hell away. Jonas and Fan still attempting to chase down. See, actually by the bottom rune, more members coming across for this one. But no one to go as of yet, as both teams kind of prepared for that. Vega head down with the supports, but Alliance, they were smoked up as well, so they just kind of end up butting heads and backing off.
Yeah, and negates each other. Limp finding time to just farm away in the jungle, so that's good news for him, but he's lost his mid tower now as Iceberg takes a freebie. This OD is very, very farmed, well ahead of the pack, and that is a big concern for Alliance.
Yeah, and such a different level of performance from Iceberg as well. I mean, he always was the mid in terms of the other teams he's played in. He always was kind of the standout mid laner. So it was obviously a bit of a switch up seeing him in that safe lane last game where he just did not have a great time at all on Slardar. But back on arguably one of his more signature heroes, the OD, he is indeed looking to be in a very, very good and powerful place this game. And Alliance, well, we'll see how they're able to deal with him, especially once he starts to turn up to fights and really bring the hammer. On top lane, hides onto FN, Loda and EGM. Going a little bit aggressive, but they're not really going to dive this side. Loda's starting to tank a few tower hits, but there's no way that he could chase this down. And Iceberg, he's turning up, he's got a 4-star, shoves himself into position. EGM's there, but there's not a lot he can do about this. EGM just frozen a cast, nothing else he could do to save Loda. And as I was mentioning, you know, as soon as Iceberg enters another lane, he's going to start crushing Alliance's heroes with the lead that he's already had in the mid lane.
11-minute 4-star with the Treads, Bottle, Null Talisman. Very impressive stuff from OD, and he's just getting super aggressive now. He finds Limp in the jungle.
Let's see if he gets something else out there. Yeah, indeed,
Bottom
up top.
meanwhile.
Indeed, bottom lane. That's where we're going to be watching as there's a bit of a go on to Hansken. He is kept alive. And yeah, top in the jungle. Limp taken down. I mean, I said, you know, coming into this series, we could expect games going both ways. And game 1, it was Alliance all over. Game 2, there's some very, very scary aspects of Vega coming to fruition. You look on the board, top 3 all highest at the moment on Vega Squadron. And this OD and Ursa, if they start to run away this game and get ahead in the mid game, I don't know how Alliance are going to be able to keep up.
Yeah. It felt like the laning stage wasn't, like outside the mid lane wasn't that much of a disaster, but the mid lane loss proving to be very impactful on this game. 5.8k net worth OD, 2.6k on Tinker. It is just insane how far. Tinker's the same net worth as Witch Doctor. That is not ideal for Alliance, to say the least. This is a huge deficit that Limp finds himself at, and he's only died once. It's just been sheer out farm coming out from the OD, and when your OD gets off to a good start and is able to roam like this, suddenly the game gets very difficult for the rest of the Alliance team. So the loss at mid is affecting the other lanes as well.
He has to be careful. FN and Iceberg, they've got their eyes on him again. They did, I believe, just have a ward down behind that just expired. Not sure if it caught eyes on Limp. Limp actually coming across. He's just down the march of machines. And looks like he will TP back to base. They're not going to get eyes onto him, Vega, so Limp will live to see another day. Back down to the bottom loader. Backed up by EGM and a hand scan. Yeah, look, it starts to get a bit of pressure down, potentially onto this bottom tower. But yeah, this game, the tempo is going to be stepped up in a minute by Vega. As Mag nearly with the blink dagger. Well, no, I say nearly, he's got it. Slaughter with a blink now online. And mid lane, more blood to be shed for Alliance.
Yikes.
As Vega getting kills.
Slaughter and Ursa getting their blinks at the same time,
yeah.
so they've got double blinks for this bottom lane defense.
There we go, Loader, what are you going to do about this? Already a couple of swipes and Loader down to half health. Iceberg comes in, drops the hammer. Mag with the two-man crush. They manage to get EGM as well as a triple kill for the Ball of Light. FNG cleaning up with the kill secures. Let's see if he can find an Ultra. Go on, give it to the Ion. He's going to take one home. He'll let FN take that one. Got 10-5, 4 clear kills for Vega there. Nothing in return for Alliance. We saw this. We saw this yesterday, guys. Yeah, CIS team loses to Alliance and then crushes them, and it's happening again.
Yeah.
It's some kind of magical curse.
Well, game one I thought was one-sided. This is looking even more one-sided than game number one.
They need big plays, and they're going to try for him, going into the pit, dragging Mag up onto the high ground. Though he's defensive Astral, trying to protect him from some of the damage from the March of the Machines. He's still stuck up there, will be taken down. Can they go for some sort of steal? It's falling low. No, they've got it. Radiant take the touch. Ursa picks up the Aegis. It will be popped straight away. Let's see if he can play his way out. This one, Alliance looking to surround the pit. They don't have lasso. So it will be a freebie to get out. I suppose he's got an invis rune. The question is, does he want to try and do something with this one?
Don't expect Alliance to have that much sentries. Okay, they plant one down.
Oh, Iceberg just on the edge.
Range.
The pings did come out from, no, just from Iceberg himself, so yeah, looks like Alliance to
he
get
saw
eyes
the
on
ward,
him.
perhaps.
Yeah.
Low, they're going to look to farm up these Ancients, and there we go. They're trying to protect the area. They throw out a scan just to make sure that no one's coming in. Not a huge Roche in the end since they lose the Aegis right away, but it's still money for Vega, which is, I mean, at 15 minutes in, getting that Roche money for your whole team is good enough in itself.
I mean, 15 minutes in FNG, getting that triple kill, getting the Roche kill with the team. Yeah. He's got Mechanism done. So really allowing Vega to go full divide like we saw Na'Vi do yesterday.
They're looking for the Tinker again in the dire jungle. It's not the Tinker, it was the Batrider who was in the neighborhood. Tinker off on his own in that top lane. Still no boot to travel 16 minutes in. Limp is still struggling to farm himself.
And interesting as well to see Iceberg with the pace of this game. He is going for the Rod of Atos, which we're not seeing every OD build nowadays. It's much less of a favorable item in some players' eyes, but Iceberg decides it's the play. I mean, is this just down to how quickly it's moving and how getting it at an earlier stage can still mean the item's incredibly relevant?
Yeah, it seems like a good item when you're snowballing and really far ahead because of the Arcane or doing like the way you do damage based on Inf for your Sanity's Eclipse just makes getting the Rod of Atos. It's good, it's HP, it's intel. It just synergizes nicely with OD's skill set, but realistically, it's not an item you'd normally get in a game that's a bit closer, just because you want to get your 4-staffs, your Blink Daggers, your BKBs, but you don't need a BKB. You don't need defensive items when you're ahead. You want to go for more aggression, and the HP itself does give you a bit of defensive capabilities.
There we have it. Second staff up, and on its way out, soon to be heading there.
There we go.
And nearly catching Limp by the looks of it there with that relocate, but he did manage to TP out in time. And good job he did get out. Indeed, Tinker very close to the box.
Yeah, he's been found.
Indeed, Jodison fan maybe playing around with the creeps for a little bit too long. Iceberg's found him out. And that will be another one into the bank of OD. Iceberg on a killing spree now. 8.2k net worth. And indeed, Limp sitting right down there. 300 gold behind FNG's IO. It really is just the polar opposite of what we saw in game one. Just a core player falling massively behind. In game one, obviously, being Iceberg on the Slaughter, and game two being Limp on the Tinker.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, Iceberg much more in his element. Playing the mid laners, very surprising to see him on the Slaughter in the first game, just because less the hero and more just the lane. Normally he's always been that mid laner. Seeing him and FNs kind of swap it up just didn't feel like Vega were all that comfortable. And this game around, Iceberg on one of his signature heroes in OD. He used to play this hero all the time back with Godblack on Spirit Gaming. It's proven to be a much more natural fit for him.
I mean, Alliance, Loda's still, of course, relatively close to FN's Ursa. Only 1k between them, but
They've got level 2 Eclipse. This is kind
they
of
need to make something happen.
Yeah, this is kind of a Hail Mary type play. If this doesn't work, it's hard to see a good comeback possibility for Alliance. They've smoked up and looking to use that level 2 Luna ultimate to make something work.
Let's see if they can find that jump. Jonas and Fan, Blink and Lasso at the ready. Lim's going to bots into this creep wave down bottom, potentially hoping to use that Tinker as bait, and it may just work. Vega, they're going to come across under the cover of the smoke. They still have that ward down, Alliance, so they've got eyes on them. There's the jump in. Jonas and Fan grabbing one, bringing him back in. That will be the disruptor to fall, but FN, he's jumped in onto one of them on the backliners. That's going to be EGM down. Eclipse comes out from Loda, but he's falling, and he's falling low. The damage from Iceberg too much. He gets taken out as well as he fell low. Alliance lose 3. They've lost a 4th. Limp, the only one to survive. And again, it's just an absolute slaughter. Vega maintaining and accelerating the lead they have. An Alliance with a bit of the Hail Mary, indeed, as you said, and it was not a successful one.
Yeah. Slider didn't even hit the Blink Crush at the start. I guess his Blink got cancelled.
I think he did by something.
Either got cancelled or he just somehow rushed his buttons a bit too fast and stunned before blinking. But even without that catch at the start of that fight, it still didn't matter.
Yeah.
It was Alliance who got the initial jump with the Blink Lasso. They kill a Disruptor, but it's still just a Disruptor. There's too many heroes to worry about. The relocate allows Vega to suddenly have 5 heroes there. They can smoke as 3, but still have 5 for a team fight. And the Ursa and OD both doing about 2.5 to 3k damage each, just dominated.
EGM dragged back into the field. Mag coming in with a follow-up crush. EGM to fall, and FN's ready to chase him for even more. Gets the Earthshock slowed down onto Hansken. Lim, Loda, and Jonas and Fan, though, are there with the backup. Lasso's back available. See if Jonas and Fan can catch anyone out here. Vega still sticking around. Mag questioning a potential jump back in, but with the Marching Machine spam out, Vega will hold back. So Alliance unable to really punish again. Vega's just capabilities of jumping in, picking off a support, getting out, and not having to pay for it at all. And at this stage as well, FN only 500 gold away from picking up the Aghanims on the Ursa, so the Enraged going to get even scarier as the team fights are going to be up much more frequently for the side of Vega than Alliance. And that's the thing as well, you look at the cooldowns, Alliance arguably working around the Eclipse, the Lasso. Vega with this OD, with the damage he's out doing, with the Arcane Orbs, with the Slardar, with the Ursa, it's just go, go, go for them. They don't need to wait for the timings that Alliance have to work around.
Oh yeah, they have such high uptime now. They've got, looks like the Dragon Lance complete on the OD, so he's going to get even scarier, harder to deal with. Mag's got the 4 stuff. Items just pouring into the Vega inventories here as they are getting filthy rich across the board. Io's, I mean, you mentioned the mech, which he's had for some time. Now he's gone back for the Arcane Boots. We'll have Grief soon if he wants to.
Oh, and it's not just a Dragon Lance as well. It's a full-on Hurricane Pike.
Oh, Hurricane Pike, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that very much an item that works incredibly nicely with the Amplify, just having that vision. So you always get those 4 infinite range hits in on top of the active. And obviously very scary for Alliance, seeing as they don't really have any sort of kind of defensive potential. There's nothing like a Shadow Demon or something, or Dazzle to protect someone from that kind of damage, and especially at a stage of the game where Loda very much far away from having any sort of BKB or defensive item. Mag, nice onto Hansken. Loda's already teeping himself out, so's EGM, but says, sorry Hansken, we're out of this. We are not sticking around for the party.
They don't even relocate. Good decision from Vega. They realize a fight's not brewing. It's just an Ogre being sacked, and they leave the Ursa down in this bottom lane. He's got the completed Ag Scepter now, and he'll immediately spy a hero in Loda farming here, so may look to jump. Need to be a little bit careful because it is a bit of a bait from Alliance.
Let's see if they can get the jump. Alliance, eyes onto FN. Jonas and Fan, lining this one up with the Firefly.
He knows there's an IO behind. You know, something The big change with Batrider without the Flame Break stun is against Io, where you can't actually... The hero you lasso, if he's going to get saved by the Io relocate, you can't stun the Io as he tethers in for the relocate save.
I mean, the thing is, I might be totally wrong with this as well, but with the Ags on FN, he can enrage out of lasso?
Yeah. Oh, of course, that too.
He
probably just scouted the Ags when he got near him. He's like, oh, wait, that's no, that's not going to work. That's the beauty of the Ags, being able to cast and get out of stuns.
Alliance. I mean, maybe, you know, if the start of the game went a bit different for Limp, you could say you've got this Tinker to put pressure on across the map, but Limp, of course, not in a place that he'd want to be in terms of farm. Just blinking bots, 23 minutes in. It's been a very slow-paced game for the Tinker.
Yeah. He can farm a bit faster with these items. He can stall and prevent some of that high ground push, but still realistically, very challenging for him. Seems through some more marches. FNG could scout him with the balls, and he does.
He just needs FN to get his hands in. He's trying to look for it, and he's got it.
Just
FN perfectly blinking in from outside of the march.
That was very nice from both the two players there. FNG immediately scouting with the IO spirits, and then FN allowing his blink dagger to reset.
Mid lane, a bit of a push coming in from Vega.
It's sort of a push, but also they're just them roaching. Like, they can push with 3 heroes while 2 others roach. It's like, you don't really have to stick together as 5 because of how dominant a position they're in, and also because they've got the IO. This is why we've seen Vega just repeatedly go back towards that FNG first pick IO. It just gives them such good flexibility with their movements, and they're going to continue to control the map here.
And Skin, he is going to want to be very careful where he treads. I mean, Iceberg's already caught wind of him. He tries for TP out. It's not going to happen. Astral's there. Hansken is simply going to be another freebie for the side of Vega as FN jumps in and rips his body to shreds. FN and Iceberg having an absolute game this time round. 12k net worth up there at the top. Sailing ahead when it comes to kills. You know, Iceberg 606. FN was taken down a couple of times. We saw his early aggression punished in the laning stage, but he's absolutely recovered beautifully. 625, and Ursa looking to be with that kind of Axiom rage, borderline unstoppable at this stage.
There's no easy way to deal with this Ursa in any kind of a fight. He's going to hit level 16 soon, and then that cooldown gets down to 18 seconds, so the uptime gets pretty absurd
it's ridiculous
with the level 16. He's charging forward, though. He's ready to fight. He's got Aegis, and he is a monster.
It's just going to be a question of how well Limp Spam can hold back these pushes.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying for Vega to actually reliably just try and push a lane. They can't brute force lanes very well against Tinker. He just naturally de-pushes pretty nicely, but the way they're doing it is they're splitting multiple lanes. They had a couple heroes pushing mid, a couple pushing bottom, and Alliance don't necessarily deal with that split push quite as well because they're so far behind the nine. Normally it'd be fine because you've got the pick-off potential of a Batrider, but the heroes have the relocate save, the Ursa has the Ags, and there's just too many threats to be able to do. They've scouted out the Bat now with the IO Spirits.
Just look at the position of Mag and FN just poised on the cliff behind the tier 2. Meaning that Alliance had to be so careful in any attempt to get close to this push from Vega, and they're just not going to try for it. They've got to let this tier 2 go. There's no way they can stop this outside of the base. Maybe there's a chance from the high ground, but out on the map at the moment, Vega just proving to be the kings as Alliance just suffering massively here in game 2 with no sort of answer for these kind of plays. Iceberg, now BKB completed as well on the Sodi. Just 27 minutes in, incredibly stacked. And again, another core that's pretty much impossible for Alliance to take down at this stage, as long as there's formidable backup from FNG and such, and the supports from Vega.
The game gets very easy for the OD to play aggressively now with the BKB. He wants to go blink in and play aggro. Has the Ursa to back him up, has an IO, though just have to be careful that the relocate tether save is available. If he BKBs and he's not tethered, that can somewhat screw over the IO a bit. But for now, Alliance is doing what they can to keep the lanes pushed out, be annoying. The Tinker's just always, when he sees multiple heroes in 1 or 2 of the lanes, he's always in that third lane, pushing it out. He got the top lane pushed up pretty deep. And more than anything, this is just helping him maintain his farm. He's at least got something pseudo-respectable. He's up to about 2k gold with the Blink and the Boots of Travel. We'll build into the Aether Lens, so we'll have that fairly soon. And the nice thing about this new Tinker build that you see with the Aether Lens and then the Ags is that they're all very kind of cheap, cost-effective items, and then even the build-up is very nice. Like, you're not losing much gold on your way to the Ags build-up. It's very safe, easy item to build because of the cheap parts, so should be able to at least reliably farm those items. And each subsequent item, the Aether Lens and the Ags, makes it harder and harder to push if you're Vega, so it is a bit frustrating for Vega right now to play into the Tinker, but they probably know they're just getting way more farm. They're maintaining a very sizable lead, and they're still like on a good track.
Yeah, and obviously Shen with the Slayer picking up the Midas, knowing that if this game does continue to kind of be Tinker-fied, he will be kitted out.
Yep,
And
nothing wrong with this.
And also the fact that it looks like FN, of course, no, sorry, not FN Mag, on the slider will be going for the Shadow Blade. So just getting every tool possible ready to catch out the Tinker, you know, being able to sneak up on him, take him down, because they know at this stage of the game, if you're able to kill him, you're in a much, much better position to force the issue and break the high base of Alliance.
Yeah. You're kind of in that position as a disruptor where you want to be with your team because you're trying to force fights, but that also means you're not really farming or getting levels, so Midas just fits nicely with the kind of playstyle you're at. There's no obvious item that's going to help him out in a team fight, and this guarantees some late game item progression as well if it does drag, which, again, versing a Tinker, always a safe idea for most supports to just pick up a casual Midas offlane as you often see him on 2. Although Mag feels like he's getting more than enough farm without it, which is definitely the case considering he's almost got a Shadow Blade now on top of his Blink 4 stuff. But Aegis expiring, we'll see what Alliance can kind of do and what plays they look to make off of this. I'm not really sure they can easily go aggressive because of the relocate threat. They almost just have to just keep sticking as 5 if they want to go for kind of pick off, but that in itself is a very dangerous proposition.
I mean, yeah, because you look, Mag was up on the top lane, FN was hanging around mid, but the fact that, as you said, you know, FNG is going to be there with a relocate, and he is constantly staying by Iceberg's side, so he'll always be able to bring in Iceberg if any of the other members of Vega get jumped on. But Alliance, of course, at the moment, just looking to secure some more big items to help them with this imminent threat. Loda's very close to BKB. That indeed will help him for the most part against a lot of the OD's damage. But then you look at the Slardar and the Ursa, and again, it's not going to help you against these two big boys.
It's feeling very disciplined from Vega. The duration of that Aegis, they got 0 kills, but they took every outer tower that was remaining. So 4 outer towers, I believe, went down during that Aegis. And again, like, you've got this lineup that really wants to fight, but if you're not going to find easy natural fights, don't force a high ground push into a Tinker. That's not really on your own terms. So just taking down all the outer towers was satisfactory for Vega. They're still in a position where they can be aggressive, and
FN.
there we go.
I mean, he's jumping into the base here. Iceberg is there to help seal the deal, take down Hansken. The Sanities bringing the bat low. Loda's actually going to look for the turnaround with the BKB and the chase down onto Iceberg. As Vega with a relatively unnecessary aggressive play there, not taking a good trade, throwing away.
I was just
FN's
praising them for
life.
their discipline. Like, oh yeah, they just took all the outer towers. They didn't bother to fight with the Aegis. Aegis is gone. Let's go dive high ground, guys. And mate, stick to the plan. What's going on? If you're going to do that, do it with the Aegis at least.
That was, yeah, it was awkward as well because they relocated Iceberg into a position. It looked like they were trying to cut Hansken off, but Hansken went to the north and made it so much harder for them to get the kill. So, yeah, Vega, they've got to make sure that they don't break out of the patience that they've had that suited them so well to this point, allowing them to farm up and be in a pretty crazy position. I mean, you look towards Iceberg, he's still walking around with 4.5k gold in the bank. Yeah, trades like that, plays like that, what Alliance is going to hope that Vega go for, because that's going to allow them to bring themselves back into this game.
Yeah, all it takes is a few more kills on heroes like Ursa, OD, and suddenly you're finding yourselves in a winnable position if you're Alliance.
That bit of play is pretty much, you know, put Loda on par with FN.
Yep. So off of this, if you're Alliance, it's like, look, just keep sticking the course, keep farming up the Tinker, work towards what I can only imagine to be an Ag Scepter based on their kind of high ground defending position that they find themselves in. There's some arguments for other items, like maybe a Shivers, but... Laser. Something.
He's going rage.
Oh, no.
You don't give a damn about the old laser.
No, he doesn't. You're right.
Limp. Not the place he was... Well, he did not expect the bear to be there. FN, I don't think he expected Limp to be there either. He was like, it's just Tinker.
Yeah.
That's a kill.
Popped on top of it.
All right.
It's too easy, really,
Yeah.
when they come to you like that.
I mean, the thing is, obviously one of the problems of Vega's lineup is, in terms of pushing towers, it's not that great. You know, they don't really have...
It gets a little bit better.
They just get easier. And we'll see them have a bit of a go onto the tier 3 top. I mean, obviously, they've got a lot of tank. You know, FN can withstand the front lines of this one. And talking about the front lines, it's going to be Vega going straight in onto Loda. Loda gets the chance to mansure it off. There'll be a buyback from Limp on the Tinker. Static Storm trapping up EGM. EGM pots the Ghost Scepter, keeping himself alive for the time being, but the Thunderstrike will do it. EGM to fall, chase down onto Mag, falling low. Astral from Iceberg saving him for the time being. Good multicast onto Show with the Slayer. Bump back as well by the Flame Break, ticking down low. Gets the glimpse back onto Hansken. FN jumps in, rips the Ogre down. So it'll be a 2-for-1 at the moment, 2 supports for just the one of Vegas.
And the Tinker buyback is the other big part there. So Tinker screws over his own economy a bit and his item progression by having to throw away some money for that. That was about 900 plus gold. And that's costly for Alliance. Even though they don't lose Arax, it's not exactly what they were hoping for from the outcome there. Looked like Loda was going to be in trouble there against the OD once he got instantly hexed there. But the Talisman pickup, something maybe OD wasn't aware of, blocked a lot of the damage, and OD didn't quite do what he thought he would to Loda's Luna.
FM will be interested to see what he goes for next. I mean, do you think he does just go for the BKB to allow him to fully commit to these fights and not really to have to worry about anything that Alliance are throwing at him?
MKB, I guess?
Or MKB, just because of the laser?
Because of the evasion?
Yeah.
the laser.
Oh, yeah,
He's
sorry,
got the
evasion
enrage,
as
but
well.
also,
Yeah.
the Talisman of Evasion, so I feel like MKB could be good for him.
Okay.
Just because you want to make sure you can personally bring down that Luna during the Hex. We saw there, like, Luna got hexed, but the follow-up damage wasn't really all that great. OD just misses a few too many hits from the Arcane Orb, so having an MKB, it really feels like that would make a big difference.
Sneaky, sneaky Mag. Actually, oh, that's big. Jumps in with a 3-man crush. Iceberg brought in by FNG. He's going to find one, he's going to find two. Loda comes in with the Eclipse, looking for the turnaround, but the Astral keeping FNG alive. Iceberg, godlike with the double kill. Loda, he's lost the BKB. Sanity's Eclipse, he's lost his sanity as well. 4 dead on Alliance. It's going to be a full team wipe. Mag coming in with a crush. Iceberg, Astral's up, Limp. The Swedes are swiped to the ground as Iceberg. I mean, that play there, Mag, with the fortitude he dispels the smoke with his presence on the Shadow Blade. And instead of running, he goes in because he knows that FNG is going to be bringing him back up. Iceberg in the middle of the fight. And just absolutely perfect team play there from Vega.
Yeah. They killed him so fast they didn't even realize Alliance dropped a gem in the process. But yeah, Vega on the high ground, ready to go. Tinker's got such a long respawn because of his previous buyback, and this means it's going to be probably one lane of Rax, maybe even a second. Alliance are going to struggle to defend this one. Ayu's kind of helping heal everyone up. He's got used Greaves once. He'll have it again in 20 seconds. The Greaves cooldown nice and short that he can get multiple Greaves off before Tinker's even back alive.
Looks like they will indeed get away with the melee racks. So Vega, a team that's been obviously as far ahead as they have been, have struggled to break the base, but now 36 minutes in, they will manage to the first bit of permanent damage here to the high ground of Alliance. Yeah, this game continuing to get harder and harder for them. 11-0-8 now on Iceberg. His OD out of this world at the moment. And, well, with Roshan next on the list for Vega, it's going to get even harder for Alliance to hold against these pushes. Pipe stunned by FNG. And indeed, no sign of Alliance being able to do anything to stop this. Mag. Who's going to take the Aegis? Actually, they're going to give it to FNG. I mean, he's been a bit of a star player this game. He certainly deserves it. Some fantastic relocates and plays.
Yeah, probably just a bit of a discussion like who actually needs this item, who can make the most use of it.
I mean, no one else has died.
Yeah. Mag, perhaps you could have maybe swapped the cheese with the Aegis on Mag and FNG, but
Yeah.
it seems fine the way they've got it. The two carries are too farm. That's not really a problem to have when you're only 37 minutes in.
Yeah.
OD 6-slotted once he finishes his Shivers Guard. Ursa has his MKB back at base, so I guess he's got the Mask of Madness and he can still upgrade his Basher to an Abyssal Blade, but he's filling all 6 of his slots, so everyone on the Vega side just filthy rich.
And you say once he's finished his Shivers, he's got it. It's on the courier, it's on his way out. Another item into the hands of Iceberg. He's getting close to being pretty much done. I mean, 23,000 net worth, as we're seeing in this fight, is how much you can dish out. Indeed, as you mentioned earlier, MKB was next on the items for Mag. Sorry, not for FM. And talking about Mag, he's also not doing too bad either. 2.7k gold, a lot of ways he can go. I mean, for what the role he's required to play, he's pretty much got the tools he needs with the Blink, the Force, and the Shadow Blade. Anything else is just a bit of a sweet to add on top.
Yeah, it's just Sioma who's not quite as farmed as some of his teammates, but that's where he's got the minds. He's like, I want to be one of the cool kids. I want to be farmed, and sitting back there in 7k net worth, but very respectable for a Disruptor still. And for Vega with Aegis and Cheese, got to imagine they'll be at least attempting to fight or high ground during this little window of theirs, or trying to make some kind of play, put Alliance under pressure rather than just sit back. You're not going to get any more farmed on some of these heroes. Like OD's reached his peak outside of consuming a Moonshard, upgrading to a Boots of Travel, but that's not going to upgrade your ability to team fight by any means. So I definitely see Vega trying to go aggressive during this. So one time you might argue they could wander something like a BKB on someone like Slaughter, but realistically that's not a limiting factor in their ability to take a fight against Alliance.
Oh, Vega. Close outside the doors of Alliance's base. 3 towards the mid, 2 towards the top. And we'll see how they're going about this. Another thing to add to make the pushes a little harder is obviously the Ag's now complete on Limp. But as we've been mentioning, Vega with more tools than necessary to be able to withstand that. So not something that they're too worried about. And if anything, maybe just hoping that Alliance come out themselves. Maybe so that Vega can try for a quick pick before committing fully for a full high ground advance.
He's going to slowly chip away at these lanes, keep them pushed out a bit, but not fully commit. They are going to now smoke up, so it looks like they want to go for that jump through the mid lane.
Sherman just seeing if anyone on Alliance comes forward to defend this this range Rex. They're just going to let Cardi do the job.
Will the Tinker overstep?
The siege creep bait at the moment from Vega.
Sioma shows himself on the Disruptor, so that should be a giveaway.
They're just going to reveal themselves, Vega, by the looks of it. If they'll keep Iceberg hidden still on the sidelines. Alliance, they're not biting for this. In fact, Iceberg just goes in, shoves himself forward with the BKB. The sanity's dropped. That's 1, that's 2, potentially. Loader, he does manage to match off the final right click from Iceberg. Gets himself back to base, but he's popped the BKB. And just like that, Vega sort of crouching, target hitting Dragon with the patience, and then bam, just like that, jumping in onto Alliance. It's only a support kill, but that's just for the time being, because they're looking to move in for more. Handscam potentially taking down in a few. The laser will stop Iceberg getting the final touch in, but they're moving in. The crush is down. Loader's coming on the back lines, though, with the Eclipse, and in fact, they may just find out, they do. Loader does get a double kill. So maybe Vega again going a little bit too ham, and Alliance, can they get Mag as well? I don't think they've got the vision, they haven't. Mag will get out, but they lose the, that is a lot of money.
Yeah,
that is a lot of money.
Okay, and it going into Lotus' hands mostly as well?
Yeah, that is, I mean, can Vega really throw this game? That will be
tough. Tough but doable. They couldn't quite kill the Luna there. The man's on the last right click, and I imagine they're expecting the Ursa to be close enough to follow it up. But you really need FN jumping on the Hex Luna to get the damage out as well. But just wasn't quite in range for it, perhaps.
I mean, Vega at the moment, they had a 30k gold lead.
And
I mean, if this swings around,
just kind of money bags waiting to be grabbed. Like Alliance, if they can win a fight like that and then get a tower or 2 off of it, suddenly you're looking at more than like that 5k gold swing. It's going to be like 7, 8k gold, and Loader will slowly acquire items, and bit worrying perhaps for Vega.
I mean, it really is coming down to what we mentioned at Vega. They do have the ability to kill heroes, but when it comes to killing towers and structures, it really isn't quite there at the moment. And I mean, it would still take a fair few kind of specific items to add that if anyone's going to build an AC or such or anything like that. But with the heroes that they've got, it's unlikely. And Alliance playing very well with this position they've been put into, with their backs kind of pushed against the wall. Something that we know Alliance are very good to dealing with these kind of situations. And to hold off pushes like that, I mean, it does feel a fair bit of it is down to Vega just going incredibly aggressive, diving the tier 4s and such, heading towards the fountain for kills. That does allow Alliance to turn around the fights. But Alliance holding on, and now with a smoke, maybe seeing if they can get themselves a kill outside of the base. Eclipse is back and available in 5 seconds. I mean, if Alliance find a successful fight here, it's going to be pretty incredible. Jonas Fan jumps forward. He tries to look for the initiation, but immediately Hex. They're going to lose the Batrider. The Lucid Beam coming down onto FNG. He's pretty tanky, not quite tanky enough. The Astral are holding back for the time being, but Loda coming in with the Eclipse. Burst down one with a laser from Limp. They've found FNG, but they have lost 2. Mac tries to come in with the Crush. Doesn't catch it, but the Glimpse will. Brings Loda back in. The Sanities from Iceberg. Absolutely wrecks Loda in 1 hit. And Alliance, where it may have looked like they had a bit of a sign of doing something spectacular, immediately shut back down. Vega, they may lose fights when they're diving tier 4s, but when you meet them head-to-head on their side of the map, Vega will be very quick to bring you down with the power that they've accumulated over this game.
Yeah, they didn't have the tools to kill off VOD, really, and IO sitting behind him meant that IO just became a more appetizing target, but they tend to throw... IO has Pipe and Greaves at this point, so you've got to focus him first, but killing the IO quickly is not something you can easily do. And
oh, FN, Ursa, the infamous Rax Destroyer. He's got it. He's got it, though. There we have it. We'll get the melee Rax this time. The question is, can they punish him? EGM drops a cast. Him jumping in. I mean, FN should be fine. He has Enrage available, and indeed Alliance will be able to pursue.
no Fury swipes on buildings, unfortunately.
Just wait until the next patch, gods. Now that would be absolutely
6.89 is going to be crazy.
Fury swipes now on towers. Please, never. Never. But Alliance, they'll still continue to try their best to hold on to this game, but indeed 2 melee racks down. Range racks as well in the mid lane. It's not getting any easier. They've got to hope for some more kind of CIS throwing to go on from Vega. They need them to dive and be punished, but Vega, you know, they kind of made the mistake in the early game with the aggression up top, then they settled it down. Then there was that position up top again when they jumped in past the racks where they got punished. I'm sure we'll see Vega kind of calm it down again and keep to the cleaner gameplay that they've managed to maintain pretty perfectly for the majority of this game.
Yeah, they can grab themselves another Roshan soon if they want. Put it, I mean, on the IO, we've seen FNG kind of be a very impactful player in these fights, because if he's tethered to one of their carries, you've got to kill the IO first, because that overcharge just blocks too much damage and enables the Ursa or the OD to also dish out a huge amount of damage. So we'll see. Probably again FNG grab an Aegis, and for now Vega's just kind of fishing for a pick, trying to see what's going on inside of Alliance, but it's Alliance coming to them, trying to catch him by surprise with a smoke.
Indeed, again, trying to fight outside the base. We'll see if they get the jumper they want. Loda leading the charge for Jonas and Fan. They found FNG, drag him off the side. Quick Lucid Beam, and in fact, dropping the Eclipse as well. They want to try and take the eye out of the fight, and they have. That's going to be FNG down. Loda to move forward for more with the BKB. Unless you catch anything, in fact, it's going to be FN catching them. Jumps in onto Hansken, the Crush onto Loda, and again, the Sanity's Eclipse is just doing too much at this stage of the game. Dispersing of Alliance's cores in 1 touch. Limp to fall as well. He's got a buyback. He'll use it immediately. Jonas and Fan, the only one left alive aside Limp. Vega only lost FNG. They're ready to move in, and we'll see what Limp and Jonas and Fan can achieve on this defense. They've got the buyback from Hansken as well. So with 3 members back up, what can they do? They have the rocket spam. They've got the laser spam, doing their best to slow down this push from Vega. And for the most part of it, it does indeed seem to be working. This Tinker still proving to be quite an issue at this stage. And in fact, Jonas and Fan coming in. He's actually going to be able to get himself the kill on show with the Slayer's hexed up though, and Iceberg's damage rips him to bits. Jonas and Fan does have a buyback. Hansken though, he does not. He's already used it. That's going to be a die back on the Ogre. See, they're trying to chase there. One more rocket would have done it to bring down Iceberg. Incredibly low, but Iceberg just able to get himself out of the cast radius. But Alliance, they do hold. The racks down bottom are still there, but it's costing them an awful lot. Iceberg now with a refresher. 2 Sanity's Eclipse, and you're pretty much killing the whole entire lineup of Alliance twice.
Yeah, that's going to get ugly. Gonna get very, very ugly with the refresher on OD.
I think EGM just died to the... Oh, okay, no, Iceberg and FNG were there. Actually, in fact, a good lasso onto FNG. They're managing to kick this one off. They're probably going to make FNG pay for this.
He's back in the fountain.
Oh, just Dota things. Dota to kind of relocate and then be defensively astral, and then he still pulls it off.
If your relocate ends, it goes back. Even if you're like your astral, it's not going to stop you from relocating back.
Yeah, glimpse and X mark and such. It doesn't actually hold you in the astral. It will still, will still take you back. So I mean, they committed the BKB and the Eclipse as well to try for that one. Oh no, sorry, not the Eclipse. It was just the BKB. Eclipse is going to be back up in 10 seconds for Loader. But again, Vega into the pit. It was a little bit of a longer Roshan spawn timer, but Vega are more than happy to wait and now take it.
That's the way I thought they'd do it the first time. Aegis on Mag and Cheese on the IO. But not the biggest deal in the world. Mag does have a BKB now as well, so he doesn't need that skill quite as much.
Oh boy, oh boy. Alliance really being tested here in this game too. Vega, for the most part of it, having a very, very smooth game ahead of Alliance. A couple of hiccups, but Iceberg still in an absolutely monstrous position as they will move on to the final set of racks here. Alliance, what can they do? They've got the full 5-man backup. The rocket spam starting to come out from Limp, forcing FNG back. Pipe, though, doing wonders against this sort of spam. And Vega, now clear out the wave. They've got to wait for their creep wave on the spawn lane to come round. But when it does, not many reasons for Vega to hold back from fully assaulting the base of Alliance.
Yeah, it's taking turns using those two pipes, both IO and Disruptor having one, and it's going to be very difficult. One rack standing. It seems Alliance will play it out to the bitter end. They're still in this with a small shot. It feels like they need something crazy like a Lunar Rapier to truly win this one, but Low doesn't have the money. He's just picked up a Crystallis for now for a bit of extra damage, but leaving your base if you're in Alliance's position is going to be relying on killing Vegas heroes.
Loader taken down just like that. Iceberg posts the refresher, but a good lasso from Jonas Fan dragging the OD into the base. He has the BKB, the Hurricane Pike to shove himself out. Loader looking for the change up, but there's the second Sanity's Eclipse. There's a dieback from Loader. Oh, I think it may be over for Alliance as they're held in the base. Vega ready to fountain farm. Loader's going to say, please, please stop. GG, well played is called. Vega will take the second game. And indeed, it feels like a bit of a repeat of the Alliance versus Na'Vi that we saw yesterday. Two fairly one-sided matchups.
Yeah, this one took a long time to finish, 50 minutes in the end, but Alliance, they did a good job like picking their moments when they were defending the high ground, but it was still, they're defending their high ground with a 30k gold deficit. There's only so much you can do. And while it was like good team play, good high ground defending and all that, it's never really looked like they were in a spot to win the game. So
No, I mean, as you say, classic Alliance, not a team that's going to be tapping out. They're going to try their best and hold it on. We saw some good fights, you know, considering how far they were behind, 30k behind, they were still able to win some of the team fights the latter portion of the game. But Iceberg on his OD, incredibly far ahead. We always knew with a lead, you know, even with a lead for Vega, it was going to be a game that was going to take a bit of time to end up because they just didn't have the heroes to take down the base.
They didn't have any good sieging heroes, and they're versing a Tinker of all things. So it's like, well, it could take a bit longer to end. And that's also where Alliance are like, look, they can't really push. We're going to get lots of time to keep farming. Let's wait and see what happens. Can we get enough items on Luna, on Tinker to actually pull out a win? But it wasn't to be. It looks very one-sided in the end, but Alliance, maybe if they had a slightly better early to mid-game, it could have been a much closer game.
Absolutely, but to end that one, Iceberg, certainly the standout performer. 22-1, 14 on the OD, one of the strongest OD performances we have seen here at the DreamLeague. But there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the first series of the day, Alliance versus Vega Squadron to end 1-1. We are going to have more Alliance action around the corner, up against VP as well, which I think a lot of people would probably say is going to be the harder test in comparison to Vega. Would you agree?
Yeah, VP's looking like the best CIS team right now, to me at least. They've been doing some really weird experimental stuff, it feels like, in some of their recent games, but they've been pulling off wins. In DreamLeague, they've been pretty good. 2-0 Liquid, they had a loss against Escape, but Escape have also been really good. So I look at VP Alliance as an amazing series. It could go either way. I think both teams are in good form right now, at least here in DreamLeague. So hope that's going to continue.
Indeed, right. Whatever's going to happen, it's going to be a great series. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be heading now back to the panel to hear some post-game on Vega versus Alliance. But myself and Gods, we'll see you back later for more Alliance action versus Virtus Pro. See you in a bit.
I'm gonna get it.
Hello, indeed.